Anyway, I can make it through to you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of People of Middlebury. Today's guest we have Daniela Barajas. Thank you so much for coming on our show.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Anyway, so Daniela, let's talk. I know you've been involved with this intercultural center. It's been going on. It's been getting a lot of talk recently.
Yes.
You've also been having like the best summer ever, and in like my home continent of Africa. You're in Tanzania. And I definitely want to touch on those. But before we go into that though, a lot of people don't have the opportunity to know you like I do. And I'm just wondering, introduce yourself. Who are we talking to?
Okay.
Who are we talking to?
My full name is Guadalupe, Daniela Barajas, which some people sometimes are confused about because they think I lied about my name. Because especially freshman year, when at the door it said Guadalupe, but I introduced myself as Daniela. People would always say, wait, hold up. So who are you? But yes, I'm from Houston, Texas, and I was born in Houston, grew up in Mexico, and then moved back to Houston.
Oh.
And then I ended up in the mountains.
These mountains.
These mountains.
I hear it's just a little more chilly than Texas.
Oh, yes, definitely. I don't think I didn't think that through very much. I had a classmate whose sister had come here. And since I was in 7th grade, she talked to me about Middlebury.
So Middlebury's been in your system for quite a while.
Exactly, it's been sort of in the radar. And so she always talked to me about this Middlebury. And I was like, what is this Middlebury? And so senior year, I was feeling adventurous. I wanted to go far away from home and explore the world. See something completely different from what I had ever known. And so, I was like, yeah, the mountains. I mean, Houston is a big city.
It's huge.
Yeah, and so this is completely different.
Quick question, how many area codes do you have?
Oh, I don't even know.
Like, it's just that big?
It's really big. So, Houston is a very diverse city, very big city. Middlebury. It's very rural. I think it's the second whitest state in the nation.
Wait, Vermont?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
And so it's very different.
Yeah.
It's not as diverse. But I was feeling adventurous, and I had Karina was my classmate's sister. She talked to me for so long about Middlebury that I was like, I have to look at it, and I ended up applying and deciding to come here.
What did you like about the school?
When I visited, I came for Discover Middlebury, and so I felt very welcome. The people that received me, Manuel, Carvalho. He works in admissions. I always say he's the one. It's his fault. He sold it. He sold it to me so well, and so I just loved it. And I visited Wellesley around the same time, and I absolutely hated it. Didn't feel right, and I was like, this is not the place for me. And when I was deciding, those were my top 2 schools in the end, and I ended up deciding to come to the mountains.
Well, that's great, and we're so happy to have you. And speaking of adventurous, it seems like you had an intense trip to the Mother Africa recently. Let's talk about that. What's that all about?
Well, it was a great learning experience. I'd say. A friend of mine whose name is Priscilla Makundi.
Priscilla.
We applied to the Clinton Global Initiative University this past semester.
Back when they had it in Arizona.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, and we applied and proposed a program that would address women's poverty and women's lack of leadership in business through leadership and sort of entrepreneurship training programs.
I see.
And so when we were talking about where would we want to launch our pilot program, sort of to test it out if this is something that would actually work. And so we thought, it needs to be somewhere where either one of us understands the community somewhat, knows the place, so it either had to be Tanzania, Mexico, or the US, right? And through talks and everything, we decided to do it back in Tanzania, where she's from. And so we decided to launch our pilot program in Dar es Salaam. We worked with a school there, worked with a group of young women, and did workshops on financial literacy, on marketing, prototyping, even like starting from the very beginning, how to identify the needs of your community, which is the first thing that you need to do to ever, move forward to try to solve any problem, right? And so the whole idea is to try to provide some tools to community members to address needs in the community through entrepreneurship and innovation. And we both deeply believe that change and sort of development that people always talk about needs to come from within the community, rather than people going there and saying, here's the problem that I think you have and here's how to solve it. Rather than doing that, we want to provide some tools for the community themselves to identify their needs and their priorities, and they create their own solutions to those priorities that they have. And so in the end, we hope to be able to replicate this program again in Tanzania, and then in other places around the world where there are emerging economies, and create a huge network of strong business women who can support each other and promote sustainable development within their communities. So that's a big vision, and like I said, I was in Tanzania, we did our pilot program, it was for about a week. And we're hoping to go back soon, well not so soon, but next summer, and do it again, sort of at a larger scale. But it was a wonderful time, I absolutely loved it. It was great. I mean, the girls that we were working with, it ranged. There were some, it was like 15 to like 24. So it was a range of ages.
Indeed, yeah.
But it was great. I mean, they were all very passionate, very inspiring. I mean, they motivated me to just sort of keep on going. So yeah, I mean, that was just a little bit about my experience
so cool to hear.
in the program.
If we want to know more about it, where can we check this out?
You can check it out online if you just go www.pamojatunaweza.org.
Pamoja Tunaweza.
Yes.
Pamoja Tunaweza, okay. Cool. Okay.
I'll give you the link so you can pass it on to the viewers.
Indeed. And now, let's talk about what's been going on at home recently. Home being, let's call this place, Middlebury.
Yeah.
It's our home for me, it's going to be the next 3 years. For you, sadly, the next semester.
You had to know where I'm at. I'm gonna end up.
Why can't you just stay a little longer? Just stay a little longer. Come on.
No, I'm ready.
All
I'm
right.
ready to go out to the
If it be that way. But
for now,
let's talk about what's been going on recently. Last year was proposed as the multicultural center, and now we call it the intercultural center. I've just been wondering, I think a lot of people heard a little bit of what's going on, but sometimes I'm just kind of clueless with what's been going on. And so tell us about what exactly it is, what it aims to do.
What it aims to
do.
So I guess we decided, through the talks, to refer to it more as an intercultural center, because it's not just going to be about necessarily cultures and different cultures, sort of being boxed in different slots, but rather bringing all these different cultures, different identities together, right, in one place, and providing a space where they can feel supported by the institution and feel welcomed and feel like they can just be, And this will be, we hope for it to be a place where all these intersections of identity can come together, and not just have it, be where only people of color can go there, which some people fear, some people were saying, is that what this is going to be about? Yeah. But rather where we can all engage, from different backgrounds, and feel as though it can be a space where we feel safe, where we feel like we can learn, where we can support each other, where we can just be happy, and feel like the institution is giving us support, and so recently, over the summer, Dean Collado and Roberto and Jennifer Herrera were working on a proposal where they incorporated a lot of the suggestions that students had given last semester throughout the semester, we held a lot of different forums, had conversations. And so they decided to incorporate all that feedback from students into this proposal, which is being reviewed right now. And if it's approved, this intercultural center would happen in Carr Hall. And it would be sort of alongside with CCSRE. And this would ensure that the student life and the academic life aren't existing in two completely different spheres, but rather they can coexist, and you have the students engaging with the professors and the staff, and sort of creating this supportive and learning environment for everyone.
So what are some of the critiques that the cultural center has been receiving?
Well, I mentioned one of them. One of them, I know some people feel as though this is going to be a space, this could turn into a space where just sort of people that, from underrepresented backgrounds will feel as though they could just go segregate themselves there.
I see.
And that it won't really engage other people. And so I think it's going to be very important for us to be actively engaging everyone and making sure that we create a community that welcomes people from any background, and so this center would not only provide resources for students of color, but also for first generation students, for LGBT, the LGBT community as well. And also they're thinking about, for example, having a counselor there, working with a patron counseling center, or whatever it's called. What is it called?
Pardon?
Yeah, that. There you go. And sort of having a counselor there where, like, anybody who feels like, oh, I need to go talk to a counselor right now, and they can come there. And so, again, we're hoping it'll be a place where also
like
students,
where
students that want to learn more, right, feel like, oh, I can go there and I can learn more about these topics that I don't know much about. But it won't be just on the students to be teaching all these other students, but rather there will be institutional support to educate the broader Middlebury community and faculty and everybody. So yeah, that is the vision, hopefully, where we can sort of just help each other to create a more inclusive community for all.
That makes sense. And so I've been wondering, or at least it's been kind of on a few people's minds. You mentioned people of color, the LGBTQ community, and all the first generation communities. I was wondering, a lot of times, I feel like international students sometimes are just kind of feel like a lot of those kind of things don't really apply to them in a sense. And I was wondering, like, have you guys addressed like their position or their role into this cultural center?
Yeah. Well, I'm actually there's a good friend of mine, Jawid, who brought some really good points and really good critiques in terms of the naming of the center, or just what it would offer, where would the students international students be engaged in this. And that's also a conversation that we're still having and it's still developing, and we definitely want to make sure that we hear everybody who has something to say, and again, this is a work in progress. It's not like what is in the proposal or what we came up with is what it's going to be, definitely. And right now I'm hoping to be meeting with Jawid and a couple of other international students to sort of hear out what they have to say. And I know that some of them went to talk to Dean Collado. So she's been in contact with them, and I'm helping to compile a list, an email list of all the people that want to be engaged.
So I know more about this.
Exactly.
Perfect.
So also making sure that I include all different people in that email list, that they are all able to sign up if they want to have a voice in it. So definitely I think that's, I haven't been able to really sit down with Javid and Jenny and a few other people that have certain things to say. So I think that's a conversation that's still taking place, but we definitely want to make sure that nobody feels as though they're being left out of the equation, because then if we are doing that, then we're not doing the job that we wanted to do, and And so yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna be, I mean, this what we're trying to do, it's not gonna be something easy because there's a lot of different groups coming together, right? And bringing all those people together and trying to converge interests and needs and everything, it can be very difficult, you know. But I think we're up for the challenge. So
that's it. That's what I want to hear.
So.
That's it. Okay, good stuff. Well, thank you for your time. And as y'all heard, if you want to get more information about this intercultural center, there will be an email that's going around. You can subscribe to it in the description section. And if you also want to hear more about Daniela's project back in Tanzania, visit, what was it called again?
PamojaTunaweza.org.
PamojaTunaweza.org.
And I'll make sure you have the link in the description.
Indeed, of course. Thank you so much. Yes. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
And good luck with the Intercultural Center. Definitely excited to hear more about it.
Yeah, I'm excited. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.